say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith break down Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts Crawford edges it by decision, but warns against recklessness. He recalls Gervonta Davis's caution that Crawford could get caught if he trades too often. With Canelo's natural size and punching power, Stephen A. insists Crawford must depend on defense, speed, and ring intelligence instead of brawling. Both analysts underline that strategy, not strength, will determine the winner.
Greatness. And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
At the same time, Max Kellerman points out that Terence Crawford's overall arsenal looks sharper, giving him a technical advantage. He mentions Canelo Alvarez's granite chin and naturally bigger frame with a stronger build for exchanges. Still, in his latest outings, Canelo hasn't appeared as dominant or polished as before, hinting at decline. This clash of Crawford's precision against Canelo's size and toughness shapes the matchup as one of skillful timing against raw durability.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov.
Antonio Tarver, respected boxing commentator and former champion, has publicly sided with Terence Crawford while acknowledging the huge challenge ahead. Tarver notes Crawford has repeatedly proved himself across divisions. But this matchup is on a completely different scale. He emphasizes it stands not only as Crawford's hardest test yet, but also as a contest unlike anything Canelo Alvarez has ever encountered in his career.
Average take, I'm Bud counting all the way. But this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Timothy Bradley Jr., known for his sharp tactical mind, expects the opening round of Canelo versus Crawford to be a cautious one. He predicts both men will avoid early danger, instead studying movement, timing, and rhythm. Bradley explains Crawford is especially deliberate when entering big fights, observing before springing traps. Canelo likewise often gauges distance early, making gradual adjustments as rounds unfold. Bradley concludes the first round will serve less as fireworks and more as a chess match of information gathering.
Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. In the beginning, it's all the balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm, you know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although I would say he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, you know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, just gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real, like, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? You know, let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Amir Khan, who has faced both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, offers a rare perspective on the matchup. Khan emphasizes that Crawford has already solidified himself as an all-time great within his natural divisions, particularly at welterweight. He reminds that weight classes exist for a reason, warning that moving up against naturally bigger opponents is always risky. Khan believes Crawford had no real need to take on this extra burden, since his legacy is already secure. Still, he acknowledges the ambition behind the decision, viewing it as a daring attempt to silence critics and achieve what few fighters ever do: defy the limits of size. Yet Khan is firm. While Crawford is elite, stepping in with a powerful force like Canelo is a high-stakes gamble that could either immortalize his name or jeopardize his career.
We did all the build-up, they were nothing but respectful. I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make them for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound the best fighter is Crawford by far and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway, so you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to put adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He feels
he believes in his skill. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well, that he might do really well in there. So look,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah. But why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Promoter Tom Loeffler frames the bout from a business and spectacle standpoint. He notes that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of boxing's biggest global names, each commanding massive followings across cultures and nations. Loeffler argues that few modern fights can rival this one in scale. It represents not just a meeting of skills, but a clash of two dynasties: Canelo's established reign as the face of boxing and Crawford's ascent as pound-for-pound #1. Loeffler insists the hype is fully warranted, since it's rare for fighters of this stature to meet when weight gaps and legacy stakes hang in the balance.
high-profile show. It's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, you know, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. You know, I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real. You know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft, and his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him.
Trainer Dave Coldwell points to Crawford's unique adaptability, praising his seamless stance switches and ability to use footwork to dictate range. Coldwell argues that Crawford's movement is one of his most overlooked weapons, enabling him to create angles, frustrate opponents, and control rhythm, especially against aggressive pressure fighters like Canelo. He believes these tools could prove decisive. If Crawford can stay mobile, avoid being cornered, and keep the fight in the center of the ring, Coldwell maintains he has the means to outmaneuver Canelo and pile up rounds on the scorecards.
From when the fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think he's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch. He's very good as a southpaw. His judgment at distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest, and he loads up. And he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. And Crawford gets hit. He does get hit. That's why he's exciting. But he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that distance.
Jeff Mayweather zeroes in on the weight factor, which he considers one of the most decisive elements of this contest. He observes that Canelo has long dominated at super middleweight, a division perfectly suited to his build. Terence Crawford, meanwhile, is moving into a weight class unfamiliar to his body, sparking doubts about how the extra pounds could impact his speed, endurance, and ability to absorb shots. Mayweather stresses that Canelo's natural comfort at this size grants him a built-in edge, as he won't need to make drastic physical adjustments, unlike Crawford, who faces uncharted territory.
Big factor, and I mean, this is a weight class that Canelo is already, owns. He owns his weight class. And so, I mean, and he even went up higher. So, I mean, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I mean, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terence Crawford. I mean, this guy seems like he's amazing. I mean, I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. So I mean, it's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. So I don't know who's gonna lose, but I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
A Ring magazine analyst weighs in on Canelo's recent outings, noting that although Alvarez still trains with intensity and discipline, one weakness has become more apparent. In his last few fights, Canelo has struggled to effectively cut off the ring. This flaw has given opponents freedom to move and escape his power shots. Against a fighter like Crawford, whose angles and movement are key to his style, that vulnerability could prove costly. The analyst insists Canelo must rediscover the ability to corner opponents and close off exits if he hopes to impose his strength.
I should have any position to critique and criticize Canelo. But one of the things that he's gotten in trouble with in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You know, you go to the William Skull fight and you watched him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was pretty clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's going to take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross-step a lot. And you see it right there, where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L-steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L-step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat to get back into fight stand.
Former champion David Haye offers a surprising change in outlook. At first, Haye was convinced that Canelo's size and raw power would overwhelm Crawford, leaving the smaller man little chance to win. But after watching Crawford's preparation and seeing his unmatched sharpness and tireless work ethic, Haye admits he has reconsidered. He confesses that initially, he couldn't see the path, but now he believes Crawford truly has a legitimate shot at victory.
When that's beating Canelo, I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford, I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed, because Canelo's obviously beaten, because he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, he's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so a good big can beat a good little, and usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size. I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it. They're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2. And I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think once again Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, their mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet mixing it up. It's one of those dream fights. It's a proper trades fight, you know, that anyone who's interested in boxing and wants to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. That makes sense, because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. And now anything's possible in boxing. Anything's possible.
Ex-world champion Jeff Horn also issues a strong warning for Canelo Alvarez. He argues that size and power alone don't guarantee a win. Horn believes Crawford's elite defense will let him absorb minimal damage while neutralizing Canelo's offense. He explains that Crawford's uncanny knack for anticipating punches, slipping shots, and avoiding clean hits could render Canelo's natural advantage less effective. If Alvarez cannot land flush, his strength may not matter. Horn stresses that Crawford's discipline on defense could frustrate Canelo, limit exchanges, and open the door for precise counters. Finally, one veteran fighter who has studied Crawford closely over the years sums up with conviction. After analyzing his growth, preparation, and consistency, he refuses to bet against him. He praises Crawford's mental toughness and ability to rise in big moments, qualities that set him apart. For this fighter, Crawford already belongs among boxing's greatest, and this clash with Canelo is just another stage to prove it.
Me analyzing and watching Crawford over all these years, I just cannot bet against dude, bruh.
No, you can't.
I'm going to roll with Crawford, and shout out to Nebraska, and that's just what it is.
I'm so glad you here, big dog.
I'm going to go ahead and put my bread down on Crawford, and I'm going to live with the results.
You were a DB, right?
I played wide receiver, kick return, punt return.
Oh, I thought why did I think you was a DB?
I don't know.
Even being a wide receiver, you fit the bill of a Terence Crawford. If Terence was a football player, he more than likely would be a DB or a wide receiver.
Yeah.
How much weight did you put on leaving high school going into college?
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and until next time.